My toxic husband stole our savings and tried to smuggle my stepdaughter out of state. He even gaslit her into believing I was mentally insane. So I exposed him and kicked him out for good. A year later, he's asking if we can be a family again. My husband sent his daughter away for looking like me, but I couldn't understand because when I first met my husband, he loved how I looked. He practically used to drool over me and even introduced me as his supermodel wife to his friends. So when he wanted me to meet his daughter so she could have a strong woman to look up to, I agreed. It was a moment I had been waiting for since the first day we met, and I was honored to have the opportunity to have a place in her life. Plus, Nicole was a ball of light, the type to brighten any room she walked into and put a smile on everyone's faces. I instantly loved her, and I knew I had gained her approval when we were getting ready for dinner, and she let me borrow her lip gloss. She was just 16, so she was at the age where she was really insecure about her body type. I'd often watch her scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, looking at girls she'd never be like because they're all at least 40% plastic. I tried to tell her this, and that's when she said something that changed our dynamic forever. "I just want to look like you," she blurted, seemingly out of nowhere. Tears came to my eyes. I was hit with a mix of rage and sadness, because one part of me just wanted her to see how beautiful she was, while another part was angry that she could even think that way about herself. Well, that's when my husband walked into the room. "You shouldn't think that way. Jane is too skinny. You're going to look like you have an ED." I froze. Our daughter Nicole just stared at him blankly. "So, you think I look like I have an ED?" I said, a sadness filling my chest. And instead of apologizing or saying that wasn't what he meant, he just said, "Well, you make it look good, but no one else would." Good. So my body, when I'm perfectly healthy, makes an ED look good? Tears filled my eyes, but there was no way I'd let Nicole see me cry. So I just retreated to the living room and curled up into a ball. Suddenly, all the memories hit me at once. The middle school boys telling me to eat a burger, my family relatives pinching my skin and saying, "Boys don't like thin girls." I thought it was all behind me, but it wasn't. After a few minutes, when my husband realized I was actually sad and not just looking for attention, he crawled onto the couch and sat beside me. But when he tried to hold my hand, I pulled away. "Baby, I'm sorry. You know I think you're beautiful." And maybe if this was our first incident surrounding my body type, it would have been fine. I could sweep it under the rug and call it a dumb mistake, but it wasn't. Far from it, actually. You see, a few months into marriage, my husband had asked me if I was planning on looking like this forever. When I asked what he meant, he said, "Well, you know, don't you want to look a little fuller for my sake?" We then proceeded to have an hour-long conversation about how I was an investment, but if I don't start gaining weight, then it would make me a low return. But in my culture, divorce is basically equated to murder. So even as he made me lie awake at night, wondering why my own husband didn't find me attractive, I stayed. And after a few days, he came back apologizing. Apparently, he talked to a therapist who told him he was projecting his beliefs of not being good enough. I forgave him because I never expected it to happen again. But now it was happening again, right in front of our daughter. I finished the conversation by telling him that I wasn't changing my body for him, that he could either accept that and see a therapist again, or we're divorcing. I know that surprised him, because I'm usually pretty open to anything my husband wants. But this was a strong no. By the end of the day, he still didn't have an answer for me. So I went to stay with my dad. Honestly, I didn't even want to tell him what happened, because I knew he'd be livid. But even with the help of white wine and dumb Adam Sandler movies, I still couldn't stop myself from crying. He literally thought my husband was abusing me, so I had to tell him the truth. "What the actual F?" he yelled, echoing off the walls. He was seconds away from grabbing his rifle and hopping into the car. I had to pull his arms down back to the couch. "My love, I'm proud of you for not running straight to divorce. But if a man can't love you for who you are,